Hello everyone, Elite For Yo here again. And today I want to take a look at some more of those kind of hidden gem sets and cards that are still out there, maybe a little bit more unknown, kind of like the tag team set cards that I went over last video, which isn't to say they're not known. It's more just there's still value there for some investment opportunities if you are interested. And for this one, I'm going over the EX series of cards from the Ruby and Sapphire era. So going back quite a ways, 20 years ago, and these are some fantastic sets. So if I just kind of choose a random one right here, let's take a look at EX Holland Phantoms. The Phantoms, let's take a look here. And if you don't know, these are kind of the gold star sets. Got Mewtwo, Gyarados right there. This Gyarados is so cool. And of course, the Pikachu right here. But those obviously are not what I'm going to focus on here because they're super, super expensive, right? Thousands of dollars, I would imagine. And I'm also not going to be looking at any of the holos, of which there are many really cool ones here, right? I mean, I think this is a really cool steel type Raichu, for example. Instead, what I want to actually talk about today are the reverse holo stamped cards from these EX series sets. And they're still plentiful. They're still out there in hopefully relatively good condition if you can find them in. Often when I'm looking online and in person, you try to at least get that lightly played to near mint, right? And let's take a look at some of them on here. Just to take a look at the first one, we have Charmander, and this is from EX Crystal Guardians. And what's so cool about these and Delta Species and some of the other ones is that they have different typings if you've never seen these before. So an electric type Charmander, really, really cool, I think. And these are a little pricier because, of course, they are the starters. So if we just take a look at where this one's sitting, right around $100, give or take right now. But take a look at where it was sitting back in just January, under $40. So in roughly 6 months to kind of over double in price, kind of shows you that people are discovering how cool these are. And of course, anytime there's kind of like a limited availability, a quantity of something, right? Something that makes it special or unique. And in this case, these are these stamped reverse holo cards. So it's kind of like a twofold, right? You have the stamped, and everyone loves stamped cards. Those are becoming really popular, right? Especially because the last bunch of sets, the promos in the Elite Trainer boxes, the ETBs, are the reverse stamp, not reverse, sorry, are the stamped cards. Those are really, really sought out. Well, these are kind of like the original versions of those modern cards from 20 years ago. So not only do you have them with the stamped, they're also reverse holos as well. So as you can see on the Charmander right here, it has a nice little sheen to it. So you kind of get the reverse holo and the stamped. And I guess if you want to add a third impact, get the different typing right here for the electric Charmander. So it's kind of like the trifecta. Really cool. Definitely highly sought after. Unfortunately, I think people are discovering it now. Doesn't mean it's too late. But take a look at it. For the longest time, for the last year, year and a half, it was under $20 or hovering around $20 for a Charmander stamped reverse. I mean, that's really crazy. So people who saw the value in these 6 months ago are definitely sitting really, really nicely right now. And that's just for Charmander. We'll take a look at a couple other ones on here. Crystal Guardians, we have the Squirtle right here. Not a different typing right here. Still a pretty cool card. I like the artwork a lot on this. Maybe a little more than the Charmander. This one's sitting also at $100. And if you see the graph right up on here, this kind of had the same impact. For whatever reason, this one was sitting a little more expensive 6 months ago. But this one has also roughly doubled in price over the last 6 months, give or take. While previously sitting at only around $20, $30. Crazy. And we'll take a look at this really cute Bulbasaur. Same thing, reverse stamped, not a different type. Not all of them are. Many of them are different types. Whether or not that's more of a novelty or something that could be more valuable, I personally think that the different typed ones, like a Delta species, kind of add a lot to it, make them really unique. And there's some really cool typing ones. This is not one of them, but the Charmander was. And same sort of effect right here. This one was sitting under 30 bucks, and now it's a little over 50, which is what you expect since, Bulbasaur's not going to be as popular as the other two, I guess, which isn't fair because I love Bulbasaur. Um, but these are just the starters. I just randomly chose those. Let's take a look at Cubone. I just randomly chose this Cubone right here. I don't think there's anything special about this Cubone. That's why I chose it. If anything, I think the artwork is kind of weird. Like this to me looks like someone drew what they thought Cubone looked like, not necessarily what Cubone does look like. But it's got that reverse stamp right there, and that's gonna give you a nice value amount. And this was sitting at around 20, 30 bucks 6 months ago, and now it's sitting over $70. So these are all climbing. That's kind of the big theme here. Looking at things that people have noticed are undervalued or were undervalued, at least coming into the new year back in January, and are heavily climbing now. So different entry points for different cards. And I chose this Cubone just to show you that even like a Cubone, who is, I would say, is a popular Pokemon, but doesn't necessarily have like the best artwork, can still be, a play if you're interested in that. I pulled up this new mail if you wanted like a cheaper entry point. And I like this card as an example because it shows you this right here. Be very attentive if you're looking at these reverse stamp cards for these print lines. You can see it right up here. Super, super common print lines. Unfortunately, they were very common when these were being produced. Whether that takes away from some of the value, that's something you'll have to figure out yourself. Uh, if you're collecting them, right? Maybe you don't mind as much in terms of resale value and investing wise. I think it will impact it if the card has this big print line. And like I said, a lot of them do. So make sure you're being super selective. If you're trying to get a real nice near mint copy or LP, be mindful of that print line right there and whether or not you think that's a good opportunity to invest. Anyway, but I chose the new mail here because one, it was the most random Pokemon I could think of from the Ruby and Sapphire era. And just to show you that there are still somewhat affordable stamped cards if you want to jump into this venture. This one has actually stayed fairly, roughly the same price point. I mean, it hovered around $5. Now it's at 10 bucks. If I scroll down here and look at recent comps, take a look at this. One just sold yesterday, near mint $6. If I had seen this for $6, I would have been all over it because I think these only have positions to climb. And, they're not super, super vintage. They're 20 years old, not 30 years old. But they're kind of that like almost mid to late vintage era cards. And I think there's still so much room to grow on them as people look for other avenues of where to put their money. All the obvious stuff is being gobbled up, right? So stuff like this that still has some exclusivity is going to be nice play. Just to focus on one specific set on here, I'm going to take a look at the Delta Species set from the EX series. And again, I mentioned this earlier. As you can see, that these do have the Gold Star cards. I'll just pull up the Kyogre right here so you can take a look at it. And yeah, of course, these are going to be super duper expensive. So these are not ones that I would say are good investments right now, since at some point they're going to reach just a point of unobtainability in terms of their price point. But I did want to focus on a couple things here on these, and one of them is just the fact that the Delta Species set has the reverse holo Dittos, and these Dittos are super cool. Very, very popular. If I show you the price points and how much they've increased recently, you'll be like, wow. Take a look here. I mean, they were sitting at $100. Pretty comfortably for about half a year to a year. Before that, I mean, you could have gotten these for under 50 bucks, but now they've skyrocketed, which isn't surprising. Pokopia comes out, and now everyone wants Ditto stuff. So these are super duper common. It's not common, super duper popular. I'm not saying to invest in these now. I definitely wouldn't. I mean, over $300 is kind of crazy for these. But if you have these, even in the non-reverse holos, if you just have the regular ones, those are probably decent too. Just another play I wanted to mention on there. Not ones I would have, but if you do have these in your collection, I would definitely double check. Look for these Ditto cards because they are super, super popular now. But no, I wanted to go over more of the reverse stamps. So let me just try to find a good one on here just to take a look at more value that might be. Yeah, let's take a look at this Vaporeon. Really cool Vaporeon on here. Delta species, got the typing. Um, if I zoom in right here, this Pokemon is both steel and water type. So cool. And I think that's why it's just one of the factors as why these are becoming more common to invest in, because they're so unique. And I think anything unique that was only done for a very limited time in some respect, like the tag team era, right, for Sun and Moon. And here you have these kind of cool multi-type or different type Pokemon are going to be valuable plays in the future. And take a look. This one was sitting at around 50 bucks at the beginning of the year, and now it's well over $100. So, different entry point value plays. You have to determine what your budget is going to be and what you want to put your money into. Let's kind of scroll down. I have this organized by price. Let's see ones that are more affordable. Let's take a look at this Azumarill, one of my favorite Pokemon. I would definitely uh, jump on this one. This is another steel type water, a multi-type for Azumarill on here. Really cool card. Got that reverse stamp. And is Azumarill a super popular Pokemon? Probably not. I still love it. And if you could get this for around 20 to 30 bucks, I mean, I think that's a good play. Should this go up in price? Yeah, I think so. I think that the interest in these reverse stamps is still fairly early. In that, yes, the values are going up. This one was 20 bucks. Now it's hovering around that 30 point range. Could it go up even further? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the video, right? Um, Take a look at some more here. Let's see. See if I see anything. I love this Merrill one too. It's kind of just funny. This one's jumped up in price, but these are all super affordable, I think. If you can get a near mint or lightly played reverse stamped EX series card from any of the series, I think that under 30 bucks, around 20 bucks, $25 at like a show, I think that's definitely a good play. Let's look at Crobat. Here's a Pokemon that I'm not sure many people care about. This one's grass and steel type, and nothing special about the artwork or anything on here. And yet it still follows the same trajectory, right? You could have gotten this last year for a hair over 10 bucks. Now it's sitting around this $30 range. So that's already 2 to 3 times profit on there if you had the foresight to invest in them. But the purpose of this video is not to say that, oh, these are some super magical plays that no one has seen yet. No, people are discovering these, but only recently, really over the last 6 months or so. That's why the values are going up more recently, kind of like the tag team cards in my last video. And that's why I wanted to go over this as kind of those hidden gems that are still out there. You can still pick these up, these lower end ones. I guess lower end, if you think $30 is lower end. I don't know if I do. But if you could get something under $30 near mint, I think that is a good play. And some of these are more popular Pokemon. I mean, Ralts, everyone likes Gardevoir. And here you get a kind of cool Ralts eating a berry right here. And I think this one's not bad if you can get this for its listed price on here. And I've been looking to pick these up when I'm able to. And same sort of thing here, hovering around that $10 range. And now it's jumped up to over 20 bucks. Just in the last 6 months right there. So certainly plays to be had on these reverse stamped holo cards from the EX series. So 20 years ago, that's kind of what my focus of this video is. Do you have any of these? Have you been looking at them? Have you been kind of following the market trends and saying to yourself, hey, there is definite value here. Why don't you let me know in the comments down there? Alrighty, so just to close out the video on here, I'm trying to find these hidden gems, these hidden value plays that are still available at relatively nice price points. I just wanted to focus on these last two cards. These are two of my favorite stamped reverse cards. We have this one right here. I actually have this card. I pulled it myself like 20, obviously like 20 years ago. Diglett on the cave, looking at this wave coming to like kind of take him out. I think this one's hilarious. And if you look at the prices, I guess it kind of follows that logic too. Other people like it. It's already tripled in price since January, so that one's really funny. And one more on here is this really sad Ammonite, all alone, looking at the other Ammonite couple right here. But this one is really nice. Nice looking card. I love the artwork. It's, again, another funny card. And this one too, predictably, is pretty expensive for what it is. Hovering around that $30 back in January. and it's kind of jumped up very, very sharply into this $80 range or more. I mean, people are seeing this at different price points, as you can see on here that it's going for. So those are just two of my favorite cards. I just want to throw that on there that are reverse stamps. So if you have any specific ones that you love, let me know. Hopefully you found this video to be helpful in your own investing venture or collections or whatever it is you like to do. So Elite 4Yo here. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.